Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez is set to take place on the main card in the feature fight of UFC Fight Night Woodley versus Burns this weekend. I can't wait for this matchup. First of all, let's talk about Kevin Holland coming off a big win against Anthony Hernandez. Before that, he lost to Brendan Allen. Before that, he had like 3 in a row close split decisions that could have gone either way. But either way, Kevin Holland is a beast, and he just beat Anthony Hernandez and finished him in the first round without taking any damage. And now he's looking to take another fight on 3 weeks extra time in between his last fight. I think it actually might be 2 weeks. It's only 2 weeks since he wants to fight again against Daniel Rodriguez, and now he's doing it at a lower weight class at 170. I love all of the intangibles here. I can really get excited about this fight. I'm excited to see Kevin Holland at 170 pounds. A lot of people don't realise this, but Kevin Holland was a welterweight and is a welterweight. He doesn't cut weight to make 185 pounds. In fact, he weighed in, I believe, at 182 or 183 pounds in his fight with Anthony Hernandez. Finished him in the first round either way. Now he's looking to cut weight down to welterweight, where he has huge wins over guys like Jeff Neal, who you may know of. In the third round, he finished Jeff Neal, one of the only losses, maybe the only loss on Jeff Neal's record, I do believe. Even still, Daniel Rodriguez is a dangerous opponent. He came into the UFC on short notice, beat Tim Means. Good guys beat Tim Means. Better guys beat Tim Means on short notice when Tim Means has had a full training camp for a fight that never happened. Okay? Daniel Rodriguez came in on short notice, destroyed Tim Means, showed some great boxing combinations. I even picked Tim Means to win that fight. Daniel Rodriguez really surprised me. He is a very dangerous test for Kevin Holland. However, there is a fact to be said here that Tim Means engaged Daniel Rodriguez in a boxing match. That's what Tim Means does. He likes hand control, he likes wrist fighting, he likes slaps, 1-2s, straight boxing combinations, not much else. He played into Daniel Rodriguez's game, which is those slick boxing combinations that he does have. Kevin Holland throws a lot of kicks. In fact, Kevin Holland's rarely ever in boxing range. In fact, Kevin Holland's very rarely square with his opponent. That takes away a lot of things that Daniel Rodriguez can do to him, where normally you would be worried about, what's going to happen if Kevin Holland gets hit with a clean 1-2 by Daniel Rodriguez? Well, Kevin Holland's not going to be looking to jab with Daniel Rodriguez, I don't believe. I think he's going to be looking to front kick him to the stomach, leg kick him, head kick him, jump inside kick him, get in the clinch, blast knees to the body like he did against Anthony Hernandez. There's just a completely different situation with Kevin Holland compared to Tim Means, and I feel like Kevin Holland's going to get the job done by first round TKO. I think he's going to be really fucking quick. I think he'll probably do it with knees to the body as well. After rocking Daniel Rodriguez on the feet, he's eventually going to go to the body, clinch up, finish him off. Kevin Holland's going to get the job done. I think we're going to see the best Kevin Holland we've ever seen at 170 pounds. Something I do want to talk about, however. Kevin Holland's got a real chance here, okay? And I've changed the angle of my chair just to tell you this little bit of information. Kevin Holland has got a real good chance here. A really, really good chance of being a superstar. Like, regardless of how likable you are of a personality, even if you are Kamaru Usman or Tyron Woodley, okay? Even if you're one of them two boring fucks that no one likes. If you fought actively every 3 weeks, people would like you regardless of what came out of your mouth, okay? And if Kevin Holland can do that, fight every 3 weeks, fight every 2 weeks, turn around after this one and look for another quick opponent next in 2 different weight divisions, and be good on the mic, which Kevin Holland is, and somewhat funny and very charismatic, and he elaborates himself and he does a lot of hand gestures that are pretty funny. He's just a very animated person in general. That's the word I'm looking for. Be an animated person and a personality on the microphone, be very good and clear-spoken on the microphone, and fight every few weeks across 2 different weight classes and finish guys, you're looking at a superstar. And he's young. You know, he's not in his prime yet. He's still learning, still evolving. Kevin Holland might just be, if he can pull this one off and finish Daniel Rodriguez and then maybe look for another opponent at 170 or 185 pounds, he may be the next big star in the UFC. I think his last performance woke a lot of guys up. That's what happens when you get a finish in the first round. He woke a lot of guys up, and then him saying that he wants to fight a few weeks later, everyone's like, okay, whatever, dude, you ain't going to fight a few weeks later under the current situation of the world right now where everyone's sneezing left, right and centre. You're not going to get a fight in a few weeks. He gets a fight in a few weeks. Not only does he get a fight in a few weeks, he gets a fight in a few weeks against Daniel Rodriguez, who's 10-1, who just announced himself in the welterweight division on short notice against a guy in the top 30 of Tim Means. This ain't just any welterweight on short notice. Daniel Rodriguez is kind of the Kevin Holland of 185. Like, Kevin Holland came in short notice, fought a dangerous top-ranked guy in the division at 185, Looked very good doing it as well. Actually, I think he might have done it at 205. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. But he came in, fought a big name, Thiago Santos. Obviously a bit more dangerous than Tim Means. But in a similar situation, both guys from the Contender Series took a fight on short notice in the UFC, showed what they were about. Daniel Rodriguez could go on to be another huge star himself. That's why this fight is so amazing. I like this on the feature bout. I like that Kevin Holland's getting a nice little bit of a spotlight on the main card, which under a usual card he probably wouldn't be on the main card. So I'm kind of happy that this Woodley versus Burns card is so watered down and unstacked, because now at least we get these young guys who don't quite have a huge fan base. They're allowed on the main card. They're allowed to make a statement and get the eyes on their fight that they deserve. Kevin Holland's going to win this fight. I really think he is. I think if Thiago Santos can't KO you, when he can KO guys like Jan Blachowicz and you're Kevin Holland and you go in there on short notice, I think like under a few days notice it might have been that he took on the fight with Thiago Santos and still didn't get KO'd. I don't think Daniel Rodriguez is going to be able to. I think Daniel Rodriguez needs a very orthodox fighter in front of him from watching his fights. Kevin Holland is not that orthodox fighter. Here's something I really like about Kevin Holland, is that his activity is one thing, but it's his activity in certain areas. Okay, so let me take you through his record. A lot of guys don't know this about his record, but he's beaten guys like Jeff Neal. He's beaten good guys before in his career. He lost to Curtis Millender. You know what he did after he lost to Curtis Millender by decision in a stand-up fight? Did he get back in there and fight again? Yes, but where did he do it? He took a Muay Thai bout. He loses by decision to Curtis Millender, getting outstruck for a decision loss. He takes a Muay Thai bout next. He improves his Muay Thai. He comes back. He finishes two guys in the first round back-to-back. Has another Muay Thai bout. Fixes his stand-up even more. Finishes another two guys. Then he loses to Thiago Santos, where he kind of got just dominated by being the smaller guy on bottom the majority of the fight, okay? Then he takes a grappling bout outside of the UFC just to work on his grappling. Wins that one by decision against a guy called Kyle Shorts. Don't know how he's a middleweight, but either way, with a name like that, you'd assume he is like Cejudo size. But even still, fights Gerald Meerschaert, fights Alessio Di Chirico. Close decisions, beats them. Very close decisions, don't get me wrong, but beats them. Okay, split decision, could go either way. That's the point of a split decision. Then he fights Brendan Allen. Loses by rear naked choke. What does he do next? Fights a grappling match. Like, he knows exactly what he's doing. I like the way his head's screwed on. I don't see anyone else in the MMA world doing this right now. You rarely hear about that happening. You rarely hear about guys even taking fights outside the UFC when they're not here. But he's staying active, and it looks like he's fighting every month. 2020, he fought in February in a grappling bout. Lost it by decision, but shows that, hey, I got choked out by Brendan Allen. I need to go work on my grappling. I'm going to take a bout outside the UFC and work on it. Loses, but learns a lot, I'm sure. Fights then. He was supposed to be fighting Jack Marshman on March. So he fought in February, March. Was supposed to fight in March. Then he fought in May. Now he's looking to fight in May again. I just think there's an activity there that you can't quite deny. And he's got experience fighting in this situation already. A lot of guys talk about, the Contender Series guys, they're really going to thrive. Well, there's a crowd in the Contender Series and it's a different situation. But it's still the closest thing that we can have to the real experience. Other than actually doing it. Under the current situation of the world, where there's no fans, an empty arena, Kevin Holland has actually done it. He's at an immediate advantage over every single person who is fighting right now. He's already done it. And if he stays active and keeps going, I think he's going to have even more success, because he's only going to get more and more used to the situation. Plus, he's a shit talker. When you can't hear the crowd, you can hear everything he's saying to you. That's going to bother you a little bit more. It just seems like everything is a little bit stacked against Daniel Rodriguez. If Daniel Rodriguez wins the fight, you've got a star in him. As I said before, he's his own guy moving up the division on a fight win streak right now. I think it's something like a 6-7 fight win streak right now, all against decent guys. A lot of them finishes as well. I like these fights, man. Kevin Holland is going to win the fight. I think he's going to win it by first round TKO. As I said, Daniel Rodriguez needs a bit more of an orthodox opponent, but Kevin Holland just isn't that whatsoever. I think he's going to throw side kicks. Front kicks to the body are going to be money. Daniel Rodriguez likes to square up with his opponents. He's a very boxing-heavy style. Kevin Holland, the front kick to the body is going to work out well for him. Another guy who he thought that was quite boxing-orientated with more power and is bigger than Daniel Rodriguez was John Phillips. Not the best fighter in the UFC, however, crisp boxing, knockout power. Kevin Holland went to the front kick about 50,000 times in that fight. It's his go-to move against those guys who are square on. He's going to do it to Daniel Rodriguez. He's going to finish him via a body shot in the first round. And I think he could be the new star of the UFC if he keeps doing this. I say if he wins this one, take a fight at a different weight class, middleweight, and then jump back down to welterweight. I am all for it because I'll be honest with you guys, a lot of these UFC fighters complain about not getting paid enough when they fight once or twice a year. Damn right you're not getting paid enough. If anyone works their job for 2 days a year, they're not going to get paid a lot of money. Kevin Holland is taking his contract of probably, I'd say around, I think I've worked out his contract to be around, he's fighting now for 28,000 to show, 28,000 to win. And he's going to make that on top of what he already just made. He's going to make a shit ton of money if he stays active, is what I'm trying to say here. And I'm looking forward to it. I think Kevin Holland's going to get it done. I really do. Daniel Rodriguez is good though, man. Dangerous, dangerous guy. Got a crisp 2. His jab doesn't even look like it's meant to land sometimes. He just loops that 2 over around the closed guard of Tim Means, puts him down, and eventually gets the guillotine. He's got a great submission game as well. And to be honest with you, if I was Kevin Holland, I would not take on a guy who has some great submission wins. That seems to be Kevin Holland's weakness, but he's diving right into it. He's a huge welterweight as well. Much bigger than Daniel Rodriguez. Not to mention that he has a how many centimeter reach? 17 centimeter reach advantage over him. That's like 8 inches. That's crazy at welterweight. I don't see a way he's going to lose. Even if he's getting outboxed by Daniel Rodriguez, who's 33 by the way at this point, coming to the end of his athletic prime. Even if he does get outboxed, he's got that reach advantage. We've seen it with John Jones. It doesn't matter how bad he is at boxing. If he's got that huge reach advantage over guys, he can make up for a lot of mistakes. I just don't see it being a good matchup for Daniel Rodriguez. Not to mention, Daniel Rodriguez is taking this fight on short notice. Kevin Holland basically just had a full camp for his opponent, Anthony Hernandez. Then had a hard sparring session where he didn't take any damage whatsoever. Destroyed the guy in 1 round in Anthony Hernandez. Now he's just having his real fight 2 weeks later and he's got more of a camp. It just doesn't look good for Daniel Rodriguez. I hope Kevin Holland gets the job done. If he does get the job done, you've got yourself a new superstar UFC. I'm looking forward to it. Kevin Trailblazer Holland. Hopefully we see more of the Trailblazer. Because he said that in his interview. He said that was the Trailblazer where I finished guys in the first round. Because I'll be honest, Kevin Holland can admire his work a little bit too much and sit back, get comfortable, and leave himself vulnerable in certain situations, which I don't really like. So we'll see what happens. I think he's going to go out there, be Trailblazer, finish Daniel Rodriguez in the first round. Looking forward to it. Kevin Holland, out of nowhere, one of my new favourite fighters. I've always paid attention to him since the Thiago Santos fight. Anyone who talks shit in the middle of the cage, I'm a huge fan of. Adds a whole new perspective to the fight. Anyone who's willing to take on Thiago Santos, upper weight class on short notice, I'm a huge fan of. I'm a huge fan of Kevin Holland. I think he's going to get it done. First round TKO. Like and subscribe. And if he does win this bout, it depends what he's looking to do. A rematch with Jeff Neal at 170 might not be too far-fetched. I'm sure Jeff Neal would like to eradicate the 1 loss that he has on his record. Let me just check real quickly if it is the 1 loss that he has on his record. It's one of 2 losses. He'll avenge one of his 2 losses. Wow, really fucked that up at the end. Goodbye. Click that button there. See you later.